Good morning and welcome to the DFS Army YouTube channel. I am Razzle11 and you can find me on X at Razzle11Grinds. I'm going to take a look at some pitching options for today, the 13th of July. It is Saturday. We do have, I guess it's three different slates, but we're going to look at the two mainish slates. The early, which is actually afternoon. There's actually an earlier slate than that. As an 8 gamer, and then the main slate is a 5 gamer. This is a first look at the pitching options. I will be looking at DraftKings as that is where a majority of my action is. On FanDuel, I would cut my pool into a half or so, just because pricing isn't as tight. We don't have to be as creative. But let's dig in here with the first 8 gamer. As far as weather-wise, I think we're going to be all right weather for the day, but I haven't seen any official word from our guys at DFS Army. Not really going to use Gray Rod against the Yankees. I think he's got upside. He was solid against them the first time he faced them. Didn't allow a run, just 3 strikeouts. He has been at his best win at home. So that's obviously something to pay attention to. But I just don't think we need to go there. He is a minus 135 favorite. Not that he's a huge favorite by any means. K-prop of 6.5, juice on the under. As of right now, I have no problem not using him. Obviously, it depends as we dig in here the rest of the slate. But my initial attention is going to be to just pass on him and look to go elsewhere. Evaldi against Houston has struggled against them the first time. He struggled on the road quite a bit. He's got a couple strong starts in a row, but again, his road struggles have been very interesting. K-prop of 5.5, juices on the under as well. He is a minus 120 favorite, which is a little shocking to me, I think. But Evaldi's probably going to even fall behind Grayson Rodriguez for me, which is weird. We're starting out a little rough here at the top with some names that I think people are just going to play based on name value only. So it might be tough to make a complete pitcher pool, to be honest, in this 8 gamer. Might have to incorporate one of those two, which obviously would be Gray Rod over Evaldi. Lugo is an all-star, pitching unbelievable this season. He's been best on the road even. Obviously, difficult spot for him. Game total of 9. He is an underdog in this matchup. K-prop of 5.5 with juice on the over. I think Lugo's in play for me, but again, he's not somebody I feel super safe about. I think I kind of like Cutter Crawford a little bit more in that matchup. He is favored. 25 plus DK points in 3 out of his last 4 starts. Obviously, he's pitching at home. His numbers are a little worse. His K numbers are better at home, which is nice, but I can see one of those pitchers paying off pretty nicely, even in a higher total game. Crawford's K-prop's at 5.5. His juice is on the under, but he is a minus 135 favorite. Luis Hill against Baltimore has struggled mightily in his 2 starts. I guess overall, his 2 starts against Baltimore. I think his first one was probably pretty strong. It was. But his most recent one was pretty rough. He did bounce back in his last start and looked pretty good after a number of not so great starts. I do think Baltimore's offense has hit a bit of a wall right now. They're obviously going to turn around. They're, one of the best teams in baseball. But it might be a sneaky spot to use Luis Hill. I don't feel super strong about it. Like I mentioned, Gray Rod is actually a slight favorite at minus 135. Hills K props at 5.5. I don't know. Like I prefer to really not use pitching in that game, but based on some of the names I'm seeing here, I think we're gonna have to use them. Um, so it's really gonna turn into an offensive slate for me, which is very rare. Andrew Abbott definitely going to be highly owned. We've been picking on Miami a lot. He's coming off of his, I would assume, his best performance this season. He's had two, ultimately 30 plus fantasy point performances in his last four starts, both coming at home, I believe. Yep. His best starts have been at home, which is shocking considering the ballpark he's pitching in. Just a great spot to take on the Marlins. K prop of 5.5. Juice is on the over. He's a minus 155 favorite. He's probably going to be the one that's pretty highly owned on the slate. Gavin Williams, coming off of a great start against Detroit, he looked good. Um, Going to use him against Tampa Bay. I think Tampa Bay's offense has woken up a little bit. He is a minus 112 favorite, so super slight favorite. K prop of 5.5. Juice is on the under, but still, he's kind of rounding into form here after spending most of the season on the IL. I do like Gavin Williams. Mitchell Parker does intrigue me a little bit. He's had some pretty solid starts, but it's not like he's a huge upside kind of guy. But on this slate, he feels like somebody that we might want to use. He hasn't been as strong on the road. Walks a lot more guys, which are big. Doesn't give up the home run ball as much. K prop of 5.5, but juices really strongly on the under. Slight underdog against Dallas Keuchel, which is just gross. Um, but I think Parker is somebody that I might sneak into my pool just to get a sprinkle of. Christian Scott taking on Colorado. We've been picking on them a ton. Scott doesn't really showcase a lot of Ks. You know, he started out in his first two starts racking up strikeouts, but since then they really haven't been there. But we do know Colorado's been striking out a lot. Um, he has been his strongest when pitching at home in his rookie season. Just a matchup that we've been picking on. So why would we not just go right back to it? Um, he's a minus 230 favorite, it appears. And trying to K prop of 5.5. Sorry about that. My eyes don't want to work. 5.5 with juice on the over actually. So probably another guy that's going to be super popular. But that kind of shows you the kind of pitching we have available. We're looking at Andrew Abbott, Gavin Williams, but Abbott and Christian Scott as being arguably the highest owned on this slate. I don't know. Um, be interesting to see what the ownership projections end up being this afternoon. Edward Cabrera, I'm a big fan. The problem is he allows a lot of base runners because he throws a lot of pitches, a lot of walks, etc. In this ballpark. In Cincinnati, I think there's a lot of K upside in this matchup, but there's upside like the possibility of a line like this, really. Like just 3 hits allowed, but 4 walks, 4 runs, just kind of all over the place. I might go there. I don't know if I want to deal with the headache, but K prop is 6.5. Juice is on the under. Uh, just super talented, but his performances are just all over the place. But we do have to make a pitcher pool out of this, so his upside might slide him into the pool. Um, Man, but the problem is we have to use some ownership on some guys. And the more I'm looking at it, the more I'm thinking I'm gonna have to just double the field weight on like Abbott and Scott. I don't know if double is really going to be a thing, but um, maybe 1.5x if those guys are higher owned. Here again, thank you, Phillips. I am intrigued. He looked decent, uh, but that was a relief appearance. or it was 6 days ago. He's going to make his first start. Um, yeah, obviously the one thing is I don't know how many pitches he's going to go. He threw 53 in that performance. I'd have to look into his minor league numbers to see if he's really, really extended out. Um, but I would assume he's good for 70 plus. Against Oakland, strikeouts can happen quite a bit. He racked up 7 of them in 4 innings against Atlanta. Uh, I'm definitely going to get a couple shares. K prop at just 4.5 with juice on the under. Um, but he is a minus 192 favorite. So, uh, this performance says quite a bit. So I'm intrigued. And he's coming in, on full starter's rest plus a day, actually. So certainly in play for us. Let's take a look at the main. As you see, this A gamer just doesn't have a ton of slam dunk pitching options. On the main here, we have Dylan Cease and Reynaldo Lopez against each other. Plenty of upside for both. Obviously, a lot of downside for both. Uh, Reynaldo Lopez has actually been more impressive this year than Cease. They are former teammates with the White Sox. Uh, but San Diego isn't striking out as much. Um, so I think Cease just has more upside. I think Lopez is probably safer. Cease is a minus 112 favorite, so super close. Game total is 7.5, juices on the under. Cease's K prop at 7.5. Lopez is at 4.5. Both have juice on the under in this spot, but I think George Kirby's going to end up being the main play. He's not as strong on the road. We get that, but still probably looks to be the best option for us. K prop at 5.5. Minus 162 favorite. Jose Barrios and Gilbert Diaz. Barrios racked up the strikeouts in a couple starts recently, so he does have the upside. He can allow some runs, but those strikeouts can help make up for it. If it was a full slate, I don't think he would make my pool, but he is a slight underdog. Arizona is minus 130 favorite. His K prop's just 4.5, which is wild, but I guess he's had some K performance just all over the place. I think he offers an upside for us to utilize him on this slate. Gilbert Diaz, I really liked him in his debut. I think we're going to want to use him here. Again, his K prop's just 4.5 with juice on the under. Not a huge K matchup for him, but he did look sharp enough, and like I mentioned, he is favored, so I think I'll be interested there. Let's see. Not really sure if Assad made any rehab starts. Sounds like he just threw some bullpens. If he threw just bullpens, he's not really going to be in play for me. If he does, have to dig in and see if he made some minor league rehab starts. If he did make some, then he's going to be in play. Kyle Gibson has dominated the Cubs previously, so he's probably going to be in play. I don't. I mean, I feel gross even considering it, but it is what it is. Uh, Definitely going to be interested in Wood Richardson in this ballpark. Not a ton of upside, unfortunately, because he doesn't rack up strikeouts by any means. K prop of just 4.5 with juice on the under. But he is a minus 115 favorite. So, but there we have it. There's our first look at pitching. If you enjoy what I bring to you, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell on, get the alert anytime we drop videos here at DFS Army. If you want to join us, get access to our coaches, tools, sheets, Discord, etc., I will put links in the description below. You can use promo code RAZ, that's R-A-Z, for 10% off monthly. And as always, best of luck, everybody.